This is 2 Gits in a car for Wednesday the 1st of September.
Pinch punch.
Pinching up smack for the 1st of the month.
Stop it.
What's going on down here?
Look at this.
And I think today we're talking about the shortage of lorry drivers, which is really a follow-on from where the drivers should... I mean, I don't know whether you've noticed Andy. He's Andy, I'm John. I don't know whether you've noticed any gaps on the shelves. I have in Waitrose.
Oh my, what?
Not many.
Well, because Waitrose pay the extra.
Well, they probably... Or maybe they spread the gaps out
more. Who pays more gets more.
Well, I don't know. I was actually looking. I've actually given you some statistics to look at of how many HGV tests took place during the first lockdown, and I think it was 965. I think I have to check that. Last year at the same time, without a lockdown, it was 19,000.
Yeah, so there's obviously that's caused the bottleneck, hasn't it?
Well, it has, but then there was a lorry driver outside the shop the other day, and they said, "Oh yes, the government have been making a big thing about, oh, you can increase your driving from 9 hours to 10 hours." What they don't tell you is that 10 hours includes loading and unloading. Right, and I got that straight from the horse's mouth from a lorry driver that was outside the shop. He said it makes no difference. He said it's just the extra hour you're not paid for.
But I mean, in all fairness, my sympathy for lorry drivers is limited. I don't think at the end of the day they're hard done by. They're paid well.
Oh no, they're not. No,
I'll be honest with you. I don't think they really are very road abiding.
Well, they're probably not.
I was on the M11 and the A40 and the M11 yesterday.
Yeah.
And the amount of stupidity I saw in terms of rubbernecking.
Oh, absolutely.
Articulated lorries. I mean, these are carrying. I mean, these were carrying mobile homes, massive ones.
Oh, yeah.
And other articulated lorries were like bumper to bumper with them in terms of doing 60 miles an hour, literally.
Yeah.
And the speed at the braking distance was probably not even. Probably I would say 10 meters.
Well, yeah. No. I understand.
That's absolutely pathetic. If they don't know that if a lorry brakes, they're going to jolt, they're going to jackknife.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, they should be the first. They should be setting an example to other road users.
Well, yes, I'm not complaining about that. But the question I was merely attempting to address is that 6 retailers. If you look at the stuff that I've sent you, which you haven't, because you've been too busy. If you look at the stuff that I've sent you, you'll see that 6 big retailers have now increased their wages to attract people back to lorry driving, because as you say, it is very well paid.
It's very well paid.
It's extremely well paid.
I mean, they're probably good drivers.
But
class 1 is probably on £1,000 a week.
I don't know about that. It's not class 1 anymore. It's class C and class E.
Yeah,
no, it's not. It's
close to £1,000.
No, it's not.
I know a lorry driver.
Well, you probably do, and he's probably got a very good contract.
Well, as I said, he's never out of work, and he's
probably
earning on. And if he drives any,
okay then. Let's look at it the other way. Why have all the Polish and Romanian lorry drivers gone back home? Because they've gone back home because they can earn more at home.
They've obviously more work there. Yeah, they've obviously more work there.
Right.
And for what their cost of living is.
Well, yeah, but okay. Well, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute then. If we're paying UK lorry drivers £1,000 a week.
But John, you're back to the old argument. If a nurse can live on £22,000 a year, why can't a lorry driver? So at the end, do they carry less responsibility? Do they carry more responsibility? No. So we're back to the same argument again, aren't we? At the end of the day,
probably
there
are.
has to be, at the end of the day. At the end of the day, I don't think lorry drivers are underpaid. That's for sure. That is absolutely for sure.
So why have we been importing all this lorry driving work? I mean,
because at the end of the day, there is genuinely just a genuine shortage of lorry drivers. At the end of the day, there's not a lot of people that clever who can drive a HGV. So that you've got to have a reasonable, a good skill of driving.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it is a profession. It doesn't suit everybody. At the end of the day, it involves unsociable hours. It involves away from home.
But that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, we've been importing lorry drivers.
But we've been importing everybody. We've been importing tomato pickers. We've been importing peach pickers, strawberry pickers. So that argument is
but hang on a minute. If you look at what the Tory party's main mantra is, we import the cheap labour because it's cheap, right? That's what the Tory party have always maintained for hundreds and gazillions of years. They've always said, we get the labour where it's cheapest, right? Not look after your own people first. We'll get the labour where it's cheap, right? And that's always been the Tory party's philosophy. Whether you agree with it or disagree with it,
that's
globalisation,
John.
That's what?
That's globalisation, John. That's the problem.
Well, okay, all right then. Globalisation is obviously Tory policy.
John.
But what the government are now saying, which again is in the stuff that I sent you, is that government are now telling lorry companies to hire British people. Now, British people are obviously used to a higher standard of living than, say, Romania or Poland or something like that. So the companies are going to have to pay more. And this has led to Aldi, Tesco, John Lewis. I think it's John Lewis have actually said, if you come and drive for us, we'll give you a one-off we'll give you a £5,000 salary increase and £1,000 signing on bonus. Now, if that doesn't attract some British people, I don't know what will. Right.
Well, the trouble is it won't, because you know what?
Co-op are doing it as well. Aldi are doing it.
John, it's the old adage at the end of John. I mean, we just, you know...
We live in a high-wage economy. That's what it boils down to.
Well, no, I don't think we live in a high wage. I think, you know...
We do compared to Poland.
We're pretty much, you know, we've lost our work ethic. That's our problem. I don't think it's a question of
I don't know
living in a
so
high
much.
cost. No.
Things cost more here than they do in Poland.
Well, but John, that's all relative, isn't it, John? We earn more, so of course they're gonna, you know.
Yeah, but okay, then if we earn less, it doesn't make things cheaper. Just means you've got to save up for longer for it.
Well, but that's that.
So when you're living in a cardboard box because you can't afford a house because wages are half.
But that's
over here,
John. It's like now, John. You know, somebody starting out now, a 22-year-old, you know, a graduate, or even an 18-year-old.
Why a graduate? Why not somebody normal?
Even an 18-year-old, leaving school, A levels, O levels, GCSEs, gets a job.
A levels then.
Okay, 20. You know, is on £16,000 a year.
Yeah.
If they're lucky.
Yeah.
You know, at what age are they going to be able to afford to buy a house or a flat?
Well, this is why you have the mortgage companies that allow I don't know.
You're still never going to be, because if you think about it, at the age of 18, you're earning £16,000 a year.
Yeah.
Okay. The minimum deposit you're going to need is minimum 5%, and that's if you're lucky.
Yeah.
If you can get a mortgage. So even if the average house now is 230,000, 240,000, so 5% of that, how long is it going to take you to first of all to pay to earn enough for the deposit?
Yeah.
Secondly, in order to keep living.
Yeah.
Thirdly, plus all the other expenses.
But this is why we have
conveyancing.
This is why we have fractional reserve investing, whereby years ago they would lend you 3 to 4 times your salary. They're now lending 8 to 10 times your salary.
Exactly, but it's not.
But what's that got to do with lorry drivers?
Because ultimately, like I said to you, everything is relative. At the end of the day, everybody is suffering. So I don't think it's you can.
I don't think they are.
You cannot. I do not think that the lorry drivers are hard done by.
I never said they were.
You know, so I don't see the shortage just because of salaries. I think the shortage is probably due.
But hang on a minute. No. Hang on. You're missing.
So somebody like Steve, if somebody said to him,
"I'm not on about Steve."
No, but let's get an example. Random person, unemployed.
Well, he's not random though, is he?
He's got half a brain.
He's a special case.
Well, no, he's got half a brain. So if somebody said to him, right, we're going to spend, I don't know, £15,000 in training you to be a HGV driver, and you're going to earn, not £1,000 a week, but you're going to earn £150 a day, which I think minimum is definitely. So that's still £700 a week.
Okay, right.
Okay. So what's wrong with that?
I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
People don't want to do it, John. This is the problem.
Right.
It's not a question of not offering enough money. You can throw as much money as the problem as you want. It's conditioning people to work.
But hang on a minute. Yeah, I'm going to go through that. Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is, if they're offering those sorts of wages, I mean, I don't think they were paying the Polish those sorts of wages, and they've had to seriously uplift the wages to attract British people. In other words, cheap labour, right? So, because if Waitrose, I think it's Waitrose, I'll have to look through the stats, but if Waitrose or John Lewis can afford to say, have a £5,000 increase in your salary, right, and if you drive exclusively for us on contract, we'll give you an additional £1,000. What the hell were we paying the Polish? Because it wasn't that, and that's why they've pissed off back home. If they've had to increase it by £5,000 the salary, so we're trying to reverse engineer the salary of a lorry driver here. I don't know what it is, But if they've had to increase it by £5,000, we were doing it because it was cheap labour. Right, now you look on, I was in Waitrose yesterday, the bread aisle was virtually bare. Certainly the toilet roll aisle was nearly bare. I mean, they're not big gaps, but there are gaps.
Well, loads of gaps.
There's loads of gaps.
Loads of gaps. But I don't put it all down to lorry drivers, John.
No, well,
I think that's. I think that.
I mean, these supermarkets. Yeah, but don't these?
I think they're pushing things a little bit onto logistics.
Yeah, but but hang on a minute. Don't they say it's a lot like car parts companies? They operate on a just-in-time principle. In other words, they know
exactly
when they need it, and they get it an hour before.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
now,
which is wrong. You see, that's the whole.
Well, I don't know whether it is.
Well, it is, John, because at the end of the day, nobody's carrying any stock anymore.
Well,
it's all literally are they getting it in the morning? They need it.
Well,
which is lovely.
But car companies have been doing that for years.
Which is lovely in theory.
Yeah.
But in practice, it doesn't work because you do need to hold a certain amount for little glitches like like pandemics and so you've always got to have that.
And I'll tell you the other thing as well, and it doesn't matter whether you shop online or in a store, right? You're still going to need lorry drivers to move it from the port to the warehouse, right? Or basically from warehouse A to warehouse B, right? You're still going to need it. So online is not an excuse. And if you take your thing to, we'll have it when we need it, right? Which Jaguar were doing for years, all the car makers in Coventry were doing for years back in the day. They were doing all that sort of thing, right? And okay, it might be right, it might be wrong. I mean, I know for me, when I go into a spare shop and they go, "Oh, sorry, sir, we haven't got it. We'll have it next Tuesday." Yeah, it's the most annoying thing in history. But you can't please everybody all of the time, But I mean, the question that sprang to mind, which is why I was going to talk about this, the question that sprang to mind is, if all the Polish and Romanian drivers have suddenly twigged that they can earn more driving lorries at home, what the hell were we paying them if they can now afford to add £5,000 on the salary? Certainly in the case of, I forget which it is, I'll find the press cutting I saw it in, because I think it was from Grocers Gazette or Retail Gazette.
But that's like, John, why has timber prices gone up? Timber prices have gone up. I mean, my fence, I was quoted when I was going to buy the materials in January this year.
Yeah.
I was quoted £1,300.
Right.
Okay. I paid close to £2,000.
Why?
Same timber, exactly. So 5x3 posts and 87 by 38.
So why has it gone up?
Why has it gone up? Because
is that down to transportation?
No. Well, yes, some of it's down to transportation. Some of it.
So what percentage of it is down to transportation?
Well, I know that the containers. I don't know about lorry drivers, but I don't know about forget lorry drivers. But I know container prices of importing stuff has gone up literally twice or threefold, because again, I'm looking at porcelain slabs,
right?
And they're all coming from India mainly. A lot of the porcelain's coming. And he said to me,
so it's coming across on a ship then.
And prices have gone up for container freight now.
Right.
It's gone up like threefold from China or from
Really?
India. Yeah, it's gone up threefold.
Why?
It's absolutely pathetic. Because when I was paying £600, whatever, I don't know what it was. He goes, now I'm ending up paying £1,800 nearly, close to sort of £1,700-1,800.
That's quite an uplift, isn't it?
Yeah, well, there is. I mean, that's why there's no, that's why prices have gone up sky high, John. A lot of prices, and it's not purely down to HGV drivers. I think it's just generally. I think there is a lot of now costs, which, rightly or wrongly, whether we like Brexit or whether we were for Brexit or against Brexit, I think in the end there
were you for it?
I was, but I think there has been a miscalculation in it, and I think in the end,
we've gone
into it.
It's not perfect.
We've gone into it a little bit. Again, it's like leaving Afghanistan. Stupidity. The way we left with Brexit, we had plenty of time to upscale and to start to sort of realign our industries, but we didn't. It's a classic old example, isn't it? At the end of the day, because we became too reliant on the way things were going, and getting things cheaper from Italy and from Spain. And now it's all stopped. We're having to pay import duties and lots of things, lots of charges. So the trouble was, we're not used to that. You see, the trouble is, John, we're not used to it, and the trouble is now it's hitting us, biting us in the bum, which is at the end of the day, because people are used to just having something, like you said, not fitting in declarations because there's been open borders. Which is, it's nice to have that, isn't it, John, without the hassle.
Yes, it is. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you haven't been affected wholly. I haven't been affected wholly, but a lot of companies